Low guard. Wait a minute.
After you see this trailer, I think you're going to want to as well. Welcome to High Guard.
High Guard just launched 97,000 players on Steam in day one. It's a free-to-play hero shooter from ex-Apex and Titanfall devs.
Man.
Sounds promising, right?
Nope.
But the reviews? Mostly negative
Absolutely
and
not.
dropping fast.
Yep.
Players are already leaving in droves. Someone tagged me the other day, rewatch your Culture Killed Concord video at 5:10.
Yep.
It predicted this. And honestly, sadly, it really did. In that breakdown, I
always will.
talked about how aspirational characters are make or break in these games.
What she means by that, by aspirational characters, this is like a euphemism. What it means is that characters that people want to be. Like a great example of this is that if a game is really good, people are going to want to cosplay the characters from that game. Do you think anybody's going to cosplay a character from High Guard? Absolutely fucking not.
Lauren, I've shipped a lot of different
Master
game titles,
Chief,
like Gears at Xbox,
Geralt,
and we
exactly.
almost made that exact mistake
Yennefer, too.
ourselves on a game I made. But we didn't get caught by the bubble.
Yep.
Let's break down why High Guard is feeling like another cautionary tale.
It sucks.
Launched looked promising. There was a big peak from the Game Awards hype.
Yep.
There was crossplay on PC
Everybody
and
was happy.
PlayStation and Xbox.
Wow.
You had
New
solid
game.
team pedigree. Early buzz was there. People were genuinely curious about the raid loot PvP twist.
I don't think that people are genuinely curious. I think that they had an impossible mountain to climb. Everybody had already made up their mind 3 seconds into the trailer that the game was bad. Like, whenever you have a bad first impression like that, I'm pretty sure you're cooked. That's it.
Every developer would love that kind of day one spike.
Yeah.
But just a few days later, live players have dropped over 85 to 90% from the
So far.
97,249 peak.
Where do you guys
Now
think
they're
it's going to be
sitting
in 2
around
weeks?
10 or 11K concurrent on Steam, and the reviews remain mostly negative. Complaints range from bland generic
It
characters
went all the way down to under 4,000 players already.
with no personality or hook, to slow
Yep.
3v3 pacing on huge maps, and there are a lot of performance bugs that are killing the flow.
I think also the game's pretty flat. You know, there's not really a lot that's like going on. I don't like in Apex, for example, I felt like there was a lot of nuance and context to the game with like the way that you would move, with the way that you would get different gear. You could use different attachments. Like there was a lot more to it.
Look, free-to-play PvP is a crowded
Just
space.
boring, yeah.
You have to keep players engaged because retention is revenue. Miss
Yep.
it? Game over.
That's right.
Characters. Creating inspirational characters that people want to play.
Like
This is really
Mercy.
critical to the game. I know because we had this exact problem on Gotham City Imposters.
Let's get that blindfold off you.
Yeah, of course.
Welcome to Bats HQ in your shit.
Something
That
like
was a
Bats
clip from my
HQ.
Culture
Look at
Killed
him.
Concord video. The Gotham team was extremely talented and had great pedigree too.
Yep.
This isn't easy to get right, but it's imperative with this kind of game. Players want aspirational characters, heroes you crave to be.
Yeah, people, obviously, this is, the thing is that this is such an obvious reality that anybody who's denying this or ignoring it or anything else is just out of their mind. Again, I think that the cosplay benchmark is so effective. If people don't even want to cosplay your characters, the odds are that your characters kind of suck. If nobody wants to be these characters, then why would anybody want to play them?
Style
Really?
and vibe that hooks instantly.
Think about it.
Concord missed it, and High Guard's TGA trailer echoed it. So how did this happen? Well, first you had massive hype from the Game Awards announcement.
True.
Jeff loved this game. He played it early and hyped it hard. But the grand finale spot amplified
I don't know.
expectations.
Like, I
to
don't
give
know
you
what
some
he's
idea,
thinking.
he was so excited
Yeah.
that he gave them the slot for free.
Jeff.
Unfortunately, it appears that Jeff's opinion
Jeff.
and gamers aren't aligned with
Jeff's opinion was just wrong.
regards to
That's
this
it.
game.
It was
And
just
his
wrong.
help might have actually hurt them. This is a highly competitive game space.
Sure.
You need killer characters, great marketing hooks on day one,
Yep.
but having a hype machine, it can inflate those peaks and expose the flaws even faster. This game set itself up to feel like
I think that really, I feel like if Jeff didn't put it out there with a huge amount of people watching it, I think that honestly the result would have been that nobody basically played it or cared about it at all. I think that it would have had probably even lower player numbers. It just wouldn't have started at 100,000. But the game getting promoted that much, I think it got a lot of people talking about it.
another Concord. Wildlight was trying to pull off an Apex Legends style shadow drop where you have no big pre-launch beta or testing for the public. You just drop it and let it speak for itself.
Yep, exactly.
And the strategy worked magic for Apex back in 2019.
That was insane.
Because Respawn had around 300 people grinding out internal tests, and it was backed by EA's massive 9,500 employee machine.
Well, it was also just a much better game. I mean,
Hundreds
just straight
of dedicated
up,
QA testers who hammered out bugs and polished those aspirational legends before launch.
100%.
More eyes means more input. And that means issues like forgettable characters or performance hiccups get flagged and fixed. Highguard, just 100 devs at a self-publishing indie.
It's not that many,
No
actually.
EA scale
I'm
safety
surprised.
net, no public beta, only a tiny press influencer hands-on days before drop.
Wow.
Shadow dropping without that testing depth was already super risky in today's market.
I think that it really wasn't. I feel like if you had shown this to anybody ahead of time, like if they had shown this to me, I would have instantly said this was garbage and it's not going to work. The problem is that a lot of these devs don't actually listen to what gamers want because there's some sort of like weird impression that they have, like the average everyday gamer, which is like, I mean, really, it's just a guy, right? Your average young guy. Like it's almost like their interests are like a bad thing. So I think that's the other really big issue. Expedition 33 kills that, to be honest. 100 devs. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it's not that many, but you're right, obviously. And I feel like Expedition 33 was a little bit more involved than Highguard was, right? Just a little bit. So in general, I don't really think there's anything more to it other than that, right? Is that like they didn't ask the right people. And until people actually start asking real players what they want, you're going to keep getting bad answers.
Even without the Game Awards hype on top. And look, the market has changed since Apex launched. Back in 2019, Battle Royale was still relatively fresh. Players had fewer high-quality, free options competing for their time.
Apex Legends was perfect for its time because a lot of people didn't like, they loved Fortnite for how well it played, but they didn't like that it was like a cartoony game. So Apex Legends came in and it was an incredibly well-playing game that ran pretty well, and it also didn't have a cartoon theme to it. It was the perfect game for that time.
Today, gamers are drowning in choices.
Yeah, there's so many games.
Apex is still strong, Valorant, Marvel Rivals, Overwatch 2, Arc Raiders with its constant updates. Everyone's got a go-to game they're already invested in.
That's right.
They also have less patience to try something new. They'll download, play 20 to 30 minutes, and if the characters don't grab them, if the pacing feels off, if there's any bug or friction, they're back to their main game in seconds.
Exactly. That's the problem, is a lot of people think that getting involved with a game, like they almost view it as like you have to earn being able to play this game. But I actually think that's a super toxic mindset. I think the truth is that a lot of these games are, if you have friction at the beginning of your game and your game isn't fun to play right from the beginning, you have a bad game. That's it. You straight up just have a bad game.
They evaluate extremely quickly now, and I think it's safe to say they're way more sensitive to overhype. One whiff of TGA finale bait or mismatched expectations,
the market,
and the trust evaporates fast. Highguard sadly got the worst of both worlds. They had the shadow drop risk without the army helping them polish. Plus, Jeff's spotlight that made every flaw scream louder.
I really think that if it wasn't spotlighted at the Game Awards, I think this game could have just come out and it would have had like 1,500 concurrent players and it would have died. I honestly, I don't think that I think that basically Jeff amplified an outcome that was already going to occur. Like, it's not like this game would have been successful or anything else.
The biggest takeaway here is simple but powerful.
It would have been way less popular.
You need to create a healthy feedback loop for your game.
Well, he brought it to life,
and
too.
You need it from everywhere. You need it internally from your
Nobody would have
team,
played it if it wasn't for him.
externally from playtests or early access, and most importantly, from the actual players which will buy your
Exactly.
game. Teams and even media can get into their own bubble. They get focused on
Yep.
the vision or the cool ideas,
Absolutely,
the
this
internal
is what
wins.
happened.
But players
100%.
aren't in that bubble. They're the ones who decide if it resonates. They'll tell you straight up what works and what doesn't, often in the first few minutes.
But then this is the problem, is that the game like journalists and the other people in the industry try to send out these platitudes on social media about how gamers don't matter. I'm sorry, but if you're making video games, gamers fucking matter. And if you want to make a game that's not appealing and it doesn't really fit what people expect, you're going to have a bad time. It's just that simple.
If
It's so
something doesn't
obvious.
click, whether it's the characters or the
Isn't it
pacing
crazy?
or anything else,
Gamers are the only
you
thing
have
that
to
does matter.
believe them.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to adapt. And that's hard, especially when
Yep.
you've poured years into it.
They don't want to do what they
Making
want.
a great game that
Yeah.
we love to play internally, believing in that, and then releasing it and being malleable to have that open conversation with the audience and being able to adjust.
With Concord, toxic culture made real feedback nearly
Yep.
impossible. For Highguard,
Toxic culture is real feedback. The game exists as a piece of culture. If the game does not resonate with the overarching culture, then the game will fail. It's not like the culture has to fit around the game. The game has to fit around the culture. That's
we
just
don't
the way
know the
it
full
is.
story yet, but clearly there were red flags
That's
in the
life.
trailer and early gameplay
She means
that weren't
internal
addressed
culture?
enough before ship.
Oh, okay. I
The good
understand.
news,
I didn't know
as a
that.
self-funded indie with private investment, they
Yeah.
may have more runway and flexibility. They may have the time to listen, iterate, and pivot based on what players are
I don't
actually
know.
saying.
I
I'm
really-
rooting for them. I like talented teams, and they can absolutely come back stronger with updates.
I
New
really find that to be unlikely. How many games come out, everybody hates it, and then, like, even leading up to the release, everybody hated it, and then it gets a lot better? It's very, very uncommon. Extremely uncommon.
content, or even a fresh
Obviously, it'd
direction
be good,
if
they
they stay
No
open
Man's Sky?
to the
People were
feedback
hyped for No
loop.
Man's Sky when it came out.
The lesson is
Everybody thought No
universal.
Man's Sky was going to be good.
Listen early and often to the people who
They were just
actually
disappointed.
play.
Nobody was
That's how you
disappointed
break
about
out
this
of the
game.
bubble and build
Nobody playing Highguard was like, oh man, I thought this game was going to be so good. Nobody thought that. Everybody thought it was going to be garbage. That's the problem.
something that lasts. Highguard is a live example of how fast things can shift in this space, but also a reminder that the story isn't over yet.
That's right.
That's my take. What do you think?
This is a good video. I thought I would watch it since, like, she's part of the, she does, like, actual game industry stuff.
And I think
And,
ultimately,
oh, here we go. Wait. I'll link you all the
the
video.
feedback, the
Laura
noise, the
Fryer.
volume
I've seen her videos
is
before.
really showing that that there's an interest and that somewhere inside them
Yep.
people do care and they're hopefully begging for more. And that's what the launch of the game is. It's the more. It's your chance to hands on sticks and play and form your opinion.
Yeah, good luck, man. Yeah, great luck. And have to reduce our thing, saying they went into it thinking that they'll hate it? Yeah, it will. Here's the video right there. Make sure to give it a like. I thought that was really good.